I am a big fan of people. I love people. I think humanity has its weaknesses, but I think humanity is beautiful. I think people are beautiful. Or I think people, like plural, can be pretty lame sometimes. But persons, individual, like an individual person, I love that. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I think in the bigger a group of people it is, the more likely that group is to make a bad decision or to make a series of bad decisions. But when we're talking about like just individuals or like populations of people, I guess as well, I love that. Yeah, humans, not humanity, maybe is a good way to put it. I love people. I believe in people. Even people that have treated me poorly, I still can find things that I like about them or that are charming about them. Or even if I tried really hard and couldn't, that's still somebody's child, you know? I think everybody has potential. And I think that, I don't know, it can be very easy to lose hope in the world because there are some people that do really, really cruel things. But I think the average person, like the average Joe, just on a psychological level, is not going to cope very well with thinking they're doing something wrong. I think most people mean well. So if you take the time to understand them and communicate with them patiently, even if they're treating you poorly, they may come around. Of course, not everybody is worth that. You do not owe people patience. Sometimes the better thing to do is to just only work with people or know people that give you that by default, so you don't have to work for it. Nobody is owed that. It all comes down to like how much you can handle. But I find that patience has gotten me really far. I'm very thankful for that. I used to be very cynical when it came to people, like individual and like humanity, humans and humanity. I used to dislike both a lot. I used to be really, really critical of it. So I'm very thankful to be where I am now when it comes to this. There was a time when I felt like there was no hope for anybody and when I felt like it was not worth knowing anybody. It is hard to imagine, right? I feel like I'm so radically opposed to that now. Yeah, no, I have not always thought this way. When I was younger, I don't know. I think it came down to mindset. I mentioned earlier that I struggle sometimes with like certain social cues. They don't come naturally to me. I have to work for it, you know? I think that's a big part of it. I think experiencing that kind of soured me to people when I was younger. But through exposure, I was able to realize that that's okay. And I can still enjoy knowing people. And I can work for these things instead. Yeah. Yeah, like the nihilism's frown to nihilism smile. Like that makes me think of that really old millennial versus Gen Z meme. Have you ever seen that? Where it's like millennials are like, life is hopeless. And then Gen Z are like, life is hopeless. Thumbs up. I always thought that was funny. I don't actually think life is hopeless. I think everything has hope. I think you have to invent hope. You have to create it for yourself. I think it's very easy to succumb to hopeless or to hopelessness, to feel hopeless, like to be pushed into it by the people around you or by the world you're living in. But I think even in the worst situation, you can still create something for yourself if you're patient and hardworking. That may be naive though. I don't know. I've been through some rough times of my own. So that's just my perspective based on what I've lived. Absurdism? Not familiar with that. Is that like, is that true, Gen Z? Let's see. Absurdism. see. Purposeless chaotic universe, huh? Yeah, I think I align with that. Actually, it may sound funny considering what I've just said and that like everything has hope and everything has like purpose, but I actually don't think anything has purpose by default, to be clear. I think we're born without purpose and without reason, and I don't think anything's involved in that personally. And I think that's a good thing because I think it lets us create purpose. You know what I mean? I like the idea that you can invent your own purpose and discover it as you grow. I feel like if I were born into a purpose and boxed into that for the rest of my life, that'd be miserable. If that were the case, I probably wouldn't be here. I had to create this purpose for myself, and there was a time when this wasn't my purpose. I think you make purpose. So if you feel purposeless, I think that's okay. I think that's a good thing because that means the entire world is open to you. It's like the world is your oyster, right? I think it's a very nice thing to not know where you want to go or what you want to do. I lived a lot of my life like that. I say that like I'm ancient and like I've lived a billion lifetimes. But yeah, I think you can make purpose. It just comes down to, I think it comes down to experiencing a wide range of things and finding out what sticks, finding out what like makes you happy, and then you have to invest the time into that. Yeah, I'm the real peepaw, wise beyond my years. I've gotten that a lot ever since I was a little kid. Sorry, I realized this has become like super deep. I feel like any video call I've ever had always falls into like philosophy within the second hour or like before the second hour. I always end up getting into like the really existential stuff. I just can't help it. That's always been what interests me the most. I also think about that stuff a lot more before I wake up, or not before I wake up, before I go to sleep, and then immediately after I wake up. I think about that stuff a lot more, so that's probably why too. I hope it's nothing disturbing. I hope it doesn't bother you to hear these things from me. I do sincerely believe it though. I believe that you have to make your own purpose, and I believe that you will have one if you don't have one yet. Thank you for always being so cool, so patient. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, if it comes off as tooting my own horn, but I am very proud to have made it where I am. Not speaking of my career, I'm talking about like where I am mentally, like reaching the point that I've reached in my own values and in my own life, my own outlook. So I don't know. I almost feel like I wanna share that joy with others when I can, but I worry sometimes that it comes off as tone deaf or naive. Because again, it is not easy, and I feel like not everybody has reached the same point, or like not everybody could be able to reach the same point wherever they are right now. Everybody has a different experience, so it's important to clarify that. Everyone has a different experience of this world. I consider myself very privileged to have found true joy. Goodbye. Bye-bye. 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 Like Mario. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.